you relapsed. You screwed up again. In this video, I'm going to teach you exactly what to do when you're down. That's going to move you forward farther, faster. You're going to learn about creating a relapse response plan. It happened again. You slipped, you stumbled, you tripped, you tumbled, you fell, you relapsed. We've all been there. You promised yourself it would never happen again. You swore to yourself and maybe your partner, with one hand on your heart, the other raised an oath. This would be the last time, but your hands are somewhere else now. And your conviction and certitude have been replaced by doubt and pangs of shame as you question whether or not you'll ever quit for good. You brace yourself for the onslaught of the all too familiar symptoms of a relapse. Well, more porn and sexually compulsive behavior, that's one. Maybe it's divorce, disconnection, shame, anger, missed deadlines. But despite their differences, they all have one thing in common: missed opportunities. Internally, the consequences are the same. The thrill of the chase is gone and you're left numb, disconnected, groggy, vacant, gone. How do you handle a relapse? Do you naively mistake your deep regret and frustration as a guarantee that this will never happen again? Do you crap all over yourself and allow the shame to overwhelm you, which only produces more of the behavior that you don't want to do? Do you engage in belief systems and thought patterns and the programming in your head that prevents you from actually taking constructive action? By now, it's become a cliche, but it is true nonetheless that relapse is part of recovery. I love this quote by Malcolm X. There is no better than adversity. Every defeat, every heartbreak, every loss contains its own seed, its own lesson on how to improve your performance next time. There's a gift in your relapse, and I want you to find it. You might feel broken, but you're still intact. You might feel like you're falling apart. But in fact, what if there's a different lens? What if you learn from your mistakes? What if you're falling together? Recovery is not a linear process, brothers. It's full of twists and turns and hills and valleys. It is predictably unpredictable. Remember your experience of learning to ride a bicycle. You would lose your balance, you would fall, and you would scrape your knee. Guys, just bear with me with this simple analogy. What next? Did you stand around thinking about what a lousy bicycle rider you were? How disappointed everyone else would be if they discovered that you fell off your bike again, that you failed? Well, listen, if you did have that belief system, guess what happened? You didn't get back on. Okay, but clearly you did if you can ride a bike. Or maybe if you did get back on with all that self-deprecation and negativity, you didn't give it a wholehearted second attempt. Fear started to take root. The habit started to take root of fear and failure. That's a habit, okay? Right? For most of us, thank goodness, for most of us, we disinfected the scrape, we washed the wounds and the cuts, put a Band-Aid on, we took stock, got back on the seat, and gave it another go. Why? Because that's what you do. Think about it. What other option do you have? What does self-deprecation, shame, self-loathing, hatred accomplish? It produces more of the behavior that you're trying to avoid. It makes things worse. In your relapse, you must find the gift. On the other hand, when things are going smoothly, refrain from rating yourself so high. Right? It has nothing to do with you either way. Success and failure are opposite sides of the same coin we call the process. When you finally succeed in learning how to maintain your balance while making sharp twists and turns on your bicycle, it's enough to enjoy the ride and not entangle your performance with your self-worth and self-esteem. Why? Because that's a sustainable strategy. What accounts for your tendency to rate yourself poorly when you stumble highly when you succeed. Why does that happen? There are so many reasons, but it stems largely from irrational beliefs that if I don't crap on myself when I fall, I'm letting myself off the hook. I won't be motivated to improve. I deserve to be punished. And on the flip side, success is not enjoyable without praise, feeding ego. Compliment me, tell me how wonderful I am in the comment section below. I should already know how to do this perfectly. Baloney. You know what players routinely said about Bill Walsh, the legendary football coach who took the 49ers from zero to hero and won 3 Super Bowls? Bill didn't jump on you for a mistake, they said. He came right in with a correction. Here's what was wrong. This is how to do it right. Over and over, without getting all upset, he taught the smallest details of perfecting performance. That's how you orchestrate success. But listen, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows in the beginning. Even Bill Walsh had a learning curve. At the beginning of his career as an NFL coach, he led the San Francisco 49ers to 22 losses and a meager 5 wins, the worst record in NFL history. At one point, while sobbing over his failure, he even considered resigning, quitting altogether. But in his words, he had to stand and fight again, or it was all over. And that's what he did, leading them to 3 Super Bowl victories. He didn't wallow indefinitely in a sea of pity. He also didn't bullshit himself. He knew that it was imperative that he change his strategy. He fell flat on his face, grieved, got back up, and marched on. Accountability is not synonymous with self-deprecation. I want to say that again. Accountability is not synonymous with self-deprecation, self-shaming, or crapping all over yourself, that negative self-talk. That's what I'm talking about. You can be accountable for your mistakes without labeling the entire person of your being a loser, a worm, a louse, worthless, not convinced, let's suppose. You're right, let's try it your way. You're a loser. When do you stop being one? What does the belief system around user produce? Does that produce better behavior? Does that produce less porn or more porn? Ask yourself that question. What does it accomplish? You're not convinced? Okay. Let's suppose that you are a loser. Let's do it your way. You deserve it. You have failed again. When do you stop being one? Right? What time the limits, the boundary between loser you and worthy of respect you? What does loser you and that accompanying belief system produce? What behaviors does loser you produce? More acting out, right? I mean, can you really make an argument for fastening and buckling your sobriety to all of you? What happens when all of you becomes bad? More bad things happen. And the same on the flip side, accountability. It's also not synonymous with pouring on a thick layer of praise every time you succeed. You're a good boy. You do the work because that's your job when you decide to get well. You can be happy about the extrinsic benefits of sobriety without entangling them with the whole of your being, your self-esteem. Sharp concentration, quality time, accomplishing your personal and professional goals. It's enough to be happy about these and other benefits of sobriety without opting for the ego rub too, right? You're human, not superhuman, not subhuman, not holier than thou and not worthy of demonization, but a human through and through, and we make mistakes. Your sobriety, your sanity, your success is a skill, a set of skills and habits and belief systems that drive you to whatever it is you want to accomplish. You relapse because you have a series of skill deficits, coping strategy deficits. It could be that you struggle to straighten your crooked thinking, manage anger, handle criticism, deal with rejection. Whatever it is, it's a skill deficiency, not a self-deficiency. When you get well and begin behaving more effectively and constructively, that too is on account of your skill. Okay? Anyone who seriously decides to embark on this path of leading a balanced life and works and practices and feeds the right wolf inside them will see significant improvements, and I want that for you. When you get well and begin behaving more effectively and constructively, that too is on account of your skills and your habits, not personal to your essence, to your being. Anyone who seriously decides to embark on this path of leading a balanced life and works and practices will see improvements. The pace might vary, but the process is still the same. So when you fall down, when you stumble, precisely what is your plan going to look like? Think about that and write that in the comments section below. How are you going to feed the right wolf?